if we want to reach young people or reach people that are well beyond the church, we need to start doing ministry in a completely different way. We need to look at it differently. We need to embrace culture and embrace what God is doing outside of the church as well as what he's doing inside. The CMS Youth Ministry Training Programme takes the wealth of mission expertise within CMS and the practice on the ground from Frontier Youth Trust and pulls it together. You're taking the core disciplines of youth work and looking at them through a missional lens. The majority of training out there equips youth workers to nurture young people within the church, and it does it really well. But we need training that equips youth workers to go outside of the church, to go into culture, to go into contexts. We often expect young people to come to us, but really we need to be going out and meeting young people where they're at. Pioneering and youth work go hand in hand because in both cases we need to be crossing cultural boundaries to meet people in context and working out what the gospel means in those contexts rather than pulling people back into our way of doing things.
I've kind of found that the study here is very much rooted in your actual context, wherever you are, so that a lot of the time none of it is really abstract. There's always something that relates from the study to your context, which is a great help and makes it less stressful, but also it allows for your own personal growth in what you're doing, and actually you can bring what you learn to what you do.
Working with young people who kind of really struggle with church, it's really made me think about how we might be able to do church differently, and so that's kind of, I guess, the biggest link for me between youth work and pioneering. It's been a great community feel on the course, and actually we're all very supportive of each other, and that's been really enjoyable too.
What I really love about the CMS way of training pioneers is that it takes culture seriously. It says God might be working in a context, or God is working in a context, and we can go and find him and join him there. Adolescence is such a challenging time. Young people are trying to work out who they are in the face of what is quite a challenging and changing environment. Young people are going through all these changes as they grow up and trying to work out who am I as a person. And so youth ministry is important because it's not just responding to need, but it's helping form people at those moments in their life which is going to shape who they are as adults.
I mean, a pioneer is somebody who breaks rocks. You know, they're not even a group of people that went somewhere. There's the one person that went beyond where anybody else ever went and broke rocks the first time, dug the first trench. What does that look like in youth work? Who knows? It's just pushing boundaries, taking risks, I suppose. And I think you've got to, if you want to be a pioneer, you've got to be able to see what the boundary already is and think, well, what's beyond that? We do the graffiti stuff, which we've got over there, which is about values-based identity formation. You might talk about how they're feeling, you might talk about spiritual stuff, you might talk about how they might draw it, how they think about it, how they feel it, and we just draw stuff, and we do art graffiti, and we do art, and we're just exposing them to this bigger thinking all the time, or at least trying to expose them to this bigger thinking as often as we possibly can. Young people make better decisions if they think bigger about the world in which they exist, and I think that's why pioneering is important.
CMS has a long history of helping people put their call into action. So if youth work on the margins is something you think you're being called to, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.